Thank you for joining us today at Fictional News. This is your host, Leah Johnson. Today, we're going to discuss the new technology that has been implemented into English classrooms for students to experience the books they're reading. That's right, we're talking about virtual reality. I've gone to different locations to interview 3 participants of this experiment. We're here with Keith R., who participated in the Sweetheart of the Song Trabong experiment. Tell me, what exactly is the Sweetheart of the Song Trabong?
Sweetheart is about a medical camp in Vietnam where a soldier brings his girlfriend over and she's curious about how things work over there, and throughout the story she gradually changes.
What was your experience like in the virtual space?
It was really cool. It was so realistic. The people seemed like they were actually near me, like I could touch them. It was peaceful most of the time, and the book itself is pretty peaceful, though it got pretty intense in the end. I'm not sure if that's what Vietnam actually looks like. It just seemed like trees and buildings to me.
Do you think anything from this will stick with you?
Yes, actually. There was one thing that was extremely prominent in society today. I wouldn't exactly say that we've broken traditional female roles, like cooking or cleaning, for example, but in Sweetheart, the men were very obvious about their opinions of the girl. I was shocked multiple times because they were incredibly rude, and the girl didn't react at all. If some of the things they said were said in real life, I'm pretty sure that they'd get slapped or just generally get judged or shamed for it. It's just sad that women had to deal with that kind of treatment back then on a normal basis.
Alright, that's it for now, Keith. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Back with 2 more interviews left to go. We're here with Angela Liu to talk about her experience in Conrad's Heart of Darkness. Can you tell us a little bit about the short novel?
Well, it's about a white guy's journey through Africa to successfully transport Ivory back to his native country, but he later learns and meets a man named Mr. Kurtz, who opens his eyes on the overwhelming power of greed in the world.
I see. How would you describe your experience there?
I've actually been to Africa a couple of times, and what I saw there was completely different from what it was like in the book. In the book, it was like way more serious and darker, but this could be because of the different time periods and all. But when the story reached its climax, it felt very real. I forgot for a second that I wasn't really there.
Do you think anything from this experience will stick with you?
I could really see how reluctant people were to accept black people through their body language and actions, and it just really made me realize how far society has come from racial prejudice and equality. I mean, you can still definitely see racism and Western superiority alive today, but people are becoming more open-minded.
How do you feel about the greed aspects of the novel?
It just made me think about our current capitalistic society and how we're so focused on material possessions that we dismiss our basic human qualities like caring for one another. It just sent this message to me that to be careful of greed and not to be so money-oriented.
Thanks for your input and for being here with us today, Angela.
Thanks for having me, Leah.
Next up, we have Rosie Ann to describe her experience for On the Rainy River. Hello, Rosie Ann. First and foremost, how was it like there?
It was all very depressing, with O'Brien running to the border, wanting to flee to Canada so he didn't have to go to the Vietnam War, and him just being highly anxious and guilt-ridden the entire time, so I was kind of sad and anxious with him.
If you got a notice that you were drafted for a war, would you react the same way O'Brien did?
Honestly, yes. I would have fled to Canada with my family because I would have been so scared.
Do you think anything from this experience will stick with you?
I think the entire point of the story, like you mentioned, was to reflect on the difficult choices we make in life and how people may think badly of someone because they're not the ones facing the challenge, but if they were in the person's shoes, they'd act just as irrational.
So, for example, many people were saying O'Brien was a coward for running to the border and that he should have just served his country. But if they were in his shoes knowing that, they would have been just as hesitant as he was.
Exactly, Leah.
Thank you for joining us today, Rosie Ann. And thank you, viewers, for joining us today at home. This has been Leah Johnson at Fictional News.